you so much for having me, and really nice to meet you all virtually. I know Ragna has visited us in Bangalore. That was a big privilege and honor to be here. I hope you can hear me because my mic is not great today. I really enjoyed that Rachel's swaddling technique. I think that was really nice. Thank you for that, Rachel. I'm going to try sharing my screen now, and hopefully that works. So I thought we should, I know that the overall session today deals with trauma, but the way we look at it is how we build communities for social good using block printing, which is what we have specialized in for the past 46 years. So as an introduction to my presentation, I thought I'd just spend 2 minutes on introducing what is block printing to our audience. I'm sure some of you know already, but this dates back way to 2000 BCE, where mostly religious scripture was hand-carved in wood and then translated into paper or textiles. It really found its prominence in India around 10th century. And then fast forward even today, wood block printing, while it's disappearing overall, it still really makes beautiful textiles. Now, the heyday of block printing was around mid-20th century, where it coexisted with digital printing, with screen printing and rotary printing, which had just come into India. Why I'm putting this out there is this was the inspiration which led us to start working with autism centers and non-traditional artisan communities. So that's why a little bit of history of how the handcraft has evolved. That's my lovely mom and dad. So my dad was an engineer and I'm an ex-engineer. My mom was an amazing sociologist, anthropologist, but also very passionate about arts and crafts. And she started Tharangini in the mid-70s. And right from the beginning, other than working with our own artisan cluster, our outreach program was something very near and dear to us, and that continues even today. Now, a snapshot of where we stand today. We're the last heritage block print studio left in our city. There are only 3 woodcarvers left in Bangalore. And even in other parts of the country, there's a huge, I would say at least an 80% decline in the last decade. And this sort of prompted us to look at non-traditional artisan communities to carry forward this hand skill that is vanishing so quickly and taken over by digital production. This is our USP. So many people come to us because we are ISO sustainability certified. So we care about our people impact, our planet impact. We are carbon neutral this year. And we really, really care about building inclusive artisan communities, which are especially women-led. Ragna, you have a video. If you don't mind playing that, then people can get a little virtual tour of our studio. most of our block printers are traditionally hand block carvers, or they are die experts, or they are block printers because their parents or their forefathers were block printers and they passed it on to the skill. But in the current state, most of the children of the artisans are not rushing to become artisans. They would rather have an office job or become a cab driver. And, we can't really fault them for this because that's their socioeconomic situation. Once I think about in 2016, we had a lovely group of teachers from an autism school come into our studio for a picnic. And one of the moms felt that, we should just take the skill, try it with one of the, students to see how they take to it, because it feeds to their ability versus their disability. So going back to what I had mentioned, our goal was to really create a new generation of artisans, because none of the kids of my artisans are rushing to learn the skill. And as I see it, in another 5 to 10 years, most of these things are only things that you will see on YouTube or in museums. So towards that goal, we decided to train mums, teachers of small little independent local autism communities in and around our city of Bangalore as a self-help vocation building activity. And what you see is one of our flagship centers, which is part of Asha Foundation for Autism. Here, most of it's a very community-led initiative. There are 43 such groups in our city alone, which is Bangalore urban. There must be hundreds more around our state, but we thought if we get the implementation right in one center, that can be replicated into other centers. These were the first 2 artisans we had in the group. So Shashank and Akhilesh have been friends since they were toddlers. Shashank is nonverbal. Akhilesh, who you see in the gray t-shirt, is an excellent block printer. So the way they work as a team is Shashank places the block very carefully and Akhilesh goes in and pounds the block for him. And that process continues through the course of the fabric that they are making. So in any group in these centers, maybe out of 20 youth, there might be 4 or 5 that really take to block printing. And our goal is to get them to a level where it is income generation for them. A lot of these centers act as adult daycare centers for young adults who have various range of intellectual disabilities, but we look to it as their abilities. We do not label any of the products to say it is made at a special needs center, because we want people to purchase it just looking at it visually that it's a beautiful product and not make a sympathy purchase when they're choosing to buy it. So I have a collaboration in Philadelphia with the Fabric Workshop Museum. And the last time that I was there, we went to Center for Creative Works, which is also an art-based program and learning for people with intellectual disabilities. We took some of their art and converted it into wood blocks. And I'd carried the wood blocks with me from Bangalore to Philadelphia. This is the first time that the people there were actually seeing wood blocks. But it was incredible to me that they took to it so readily and so easily, like fish to water, because it probably feeds to their, they like things that are structured and repetitive. So in a nutshell, when we say recognizing ability, I think there are 3 goals here. One, it provides vocational training and much needed income. As I mentioned, in the context of India, a lot of the mums and dads that leave their young adults at these centers are, they're all working parents. So if we don't give them a vocational skill, they just end up being at these centers without any sort of personal growth. And the idea is to make them contributing members of their family so that they get respect at home, they get some kind of independence. And the biggest fear that the parents have is, will I be able to save enough to leave a nest egg for my child after my time? So we try to, feed into all of those requirements. We're working with special needs educators to structure the curriculum where if the repetitive nature and the hand-eye coordination is something that brings growth. And the fact that these are women-led communities also allows them to feed into some government schemes that are specifically designed to help women entrepreneurs in our communities. This is where the video comes, Ragnar, the one that you were going to play. So that is Akhilesh, who's one of our master printers, and he, in fact, is now a mentor to other people at the center. I'm going to move on to the rest of the presentation so that we don't lose time and I'm not holding up other people. A new group that we've started working with is acid attack survivors, and here there are multiple challenges. One, they have the physical disfigurement, they have many emotional and mental scars. But when they come into our studio, they're coming in to create something beautiful. And we work closely with the other artisans in the community so that we're only focused on color, on pattern, on things of beauty in a very non-judgmental, holistic environment. And it's a new initiative for us. One of my friends actually runs this NGO, and they're doing incredible work, including creating the first skin bank in our city in order to be able to help them heal inside and outside. So that's, it's a beautiful initiative. I was telling Philip that I wanted to bring in a little bit about a new collaboration that we've started with a group in Maningrada. It's the Babara Women's Center. And it started as a center for healing, but it has grown way past that. And this is a center which was set up almost 45 years ago in a very remote part. It's 400 kilometers outside Darwin. In the bush country, and they've always had a way of telling their stories through lino, as you see in that picture. But over time, lino tends to disintegrate. So we are now working with them to convert that into wood blocks. And these lovely artisans from Babara traveled 46 hours to come to India earlier this year. And they will be back later in the year. It was fascinating to see the stories of how they bond over their designs. That's their way of healing and also telling stories about the land in which they draw inspiration. And Deborah, she's one of their very senior artisans. She was also describing how their creators are all women. So the women are the ones that create the nature that surrounds them. The rainbow serpent is something that empowers them. And they speak about mentoring younger people and younger artisans in their communities to grow past their challenges by deriving strength from these mythical figures. And I thought that was really fascinating. We really strongly believe in education programs with different universities to bring a new awareness to the next gen designers on how to look at artisan and artisan communities differently, not only to encourage handcraft, but to encourage a level of interaction that will help these auxiliary communities flourish and draw some income and inspiration from these collaborations. That's a little bit about how to reach us. And with that, I want to say a big thanks from me for allowing me to be a part of this lovely forum.
Thank you.
Padmini, it's us that has to thank you because you make it sound so easy and so smooth, but what you've achieved is so incredibly advanced and human. And so I think on behalf of the audience, we need to thank you for just doing the amazing work that you do. And I hope that if anybody wants to support you, that they can send funding so you can continue to do these kinds of projects, not just in India, but with these women in other parts of the world like you've done.
Thank you so much for having me, Lee and Philip.